Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin. Mr. Coghill.
Here.
Ms. Gross.
Here.
Mr. Mosley. Mrs. Kilsmith.
Here.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Here.
Mrs. Warwick.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Here.
7 members present.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Our next order of business is to amend the agenda. Is there a motion to amend?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Our next order of business will be proclamations. We'll begin with Councilwoman Warwick.
The CEO Works folks want to come up? So we were going to do this one last week, but we were closed because of the cold, so we pushed it to this week. So we also have online the CEO of the National CEO Works organization as well. So I just want to say, well, I'll read the proclamation first and then get to it. So, whereas throughout the United States, more than 600,000 individuals return to the community from prisons annually, and in Pennsylvania, over 150,000 individuals are under probation and parole supervision each year. And whereas the Center for Employment Opportunities, CEO, links returning citizens with transitional employment, offering daily pay and help to obtain permanent positions, as well as job training and other services that help them overcome barriers to economic success. And whereas Center for Employment Opportunities has worked with the Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh Department of Public Works, and Pittsburgh City Council to provide transitional employment for justice-impacted community members and returning citizens through contracted and volunteer opportunities. And whereas CEO's Pittsburgh location opened in 2016, it has enrolled more than 500 participants and had over 300 job placements and currently works with more than 50 local employers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Tuesday, January 28th, 2025, to be Center for Employment Opportunities Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
So I just want to say quickly, and I'll let everyone here come up and introduce themselves and say a few words. I met with Josh at CEO. He just reached out to the office to sort of introduce the group, and we began to partner on helping clean up our unhoused encampments along our riverfronts. And since then, in collaboration with DPW, OCHS, and also Bridge to the Mountains, CEO has been, every Friday they've been doing cleanups. It's really been a wonderful team. I've actually been down and done cleanups, with their crews. Just is a really great experience, really fantastic crews. In addition to those weekly riverfront cleanups, they're doing sort of one-off big cleanups around the city. So it has just been a huge help over the past, since 9 months. Yeah, so over the past 9 months or so, and then they do also lots of other work to help supplement, our DPW crews and whatnot around the city. So I am very grateful, and it's been a wonderful experience working with CEO. So with that, I will, Josh, if you want to say a few words, or you want to, go ahead.
Just, excuse me, squat down here for this,
I know,
but
sorry.
just, it's all right. Perfect. Just a brief word. Thank you so much to Barb for nominating us, receiving this real honor. We're super appreciative. Also to the entirety of City Council and the City of Pittsburgh in general for partnering with us over the past year or so in the work that we do serving the individuals who are coming home from incarceration each day. This kind of partnership is really perfect for us because not only can we serve that population that is so dear to our mission, but also contribute to and give back to the city that we are in at the same time. So just a tremendous thank you to you all. This is a really wonderful honor for us. Thank you. Sarmer, I think you are on if you did want to say anything.
I just wanted to thank again Councilwoman Warwick as well as the whole City Council. We're so appreciative. I'm almost moved, especially today. Just really appreciate this honor. I really want to thank our CEO team for doing the work every day that helps people coming home from prison. And again, appreciative and really want to continue working to help make the city of Pittsburgh as great as it can be. So thank you.
Great. Okay, would members want to come up for a photo?
Thank you both.
Yep.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Smith?
I love it. Oh, I love it. I don't like in our records.
Will Mark DePasquale and friends please come forward? We'll do you next. Mickey, come up. Come up.
Hey, good to see you. It's all right. Good to see you. Hey, how's it going? See you.
Ever be here? Okay. So Mark's done a lot for the city of Pittsburgh, and I've known the DePasquale family since I lived in Oakland. I was born and raised in Oakland, and they're just a huge family who do a lot for the city of Pittsburgh. But Mark, the reason I was so happy to do this proclamation is he lives in my district, so in Mount Washington. In that's right. Whereas Mark Victor DePasquale began his career with in the city controller's office in 1979. During this time, he also served on the board of directors of the Pittsburgh Federal City Hall Employees Credit Union, including 6 years as president. And whereas the late Mayor Richard Caligiuri asked Mark, you've been around a long time, asked Mark to join the committee organizing Pittsburgh's inaugural marathon. Mark coordinated special events along the race route, playing a key role in the success of the first Pittsburgh Marathon in May of 1985. And whereas after leaving the city in 1987, he transitioned to a successful 25-year management career in the private sector, including 5 years as the owner-operator of Lindo's Diner on Pittsburgh's North Side, and 6 years as the assistant general manager at the renowned Allegheny Club at the former Three Rivers Stadium, which was home to the Pittsburgh Pirates and Pittsburgh Steelers. And whereas Mark returned to the city in 2014 as manager of the then Department of Senior Health Living and now known as the Senior Healthy Active Living Program, where he modernized and enhanced senior programming. He later became the lead project manager in the Department of Public Works, working with senior architect Casimir Pellegrini to manage over $100 million of Pittsburgh's Parks Department facility revitalization projects. all completed on time and within budget. Well, you don't hear that too much anymore. Whereas, during this time, he also served as on the Comprehensive Municipal Pension Investment Board and the regular Municipal Pension Board, along with me at the time, and we led the effort to reverse the unjust municipal pension offset municipal penalty, ultimately restoring fair pensions to over 1,000 affected employees. And whereas Mark is the proud son of the late City Council member and former City Council President Eugene Jeep DePasquale and Josephine Catherine Belisario DePasquale. He is a devoted husband to Janine Renee and a loving father to their cherished puppy, Daisy May. I didn't know you had a dog. And the family resides in the Duquesne Heights neighborhood of the city of Pittsburgh, and now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby recognize Mark Victor DePasquale for his years of service to the City of Pittsburgh and congratulates him on his retirement, and be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Tuesday, January 28th, 2025 to be Mark Victor DePasquale Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
This isn't that long, it's just a few notes, actually. I want to address this council and express my appreciation for today, but first, there's something I have to share with all of you. So as I embark upon my retirement, there's a sweet symmetry here of life coming full circle, as it's my last day in the city-county building. The first day and first time I was ever in this building, it was to come to this chambers. In 1972, I was 14 years old. My father, Eugene Jeep DePasquale, was being sworn into what would be his first of 4 terms on city council. In fact, he was the longest elected city council person with the city at large system. On the same day, Amy Ballinger, I believe she was from the south side, Walter Kamick from Lawrenceville, the great Lou Mason from the Hill District, and the former mayor, great mayor of our city, Richard Caligiuri, were all sworn in. God, how time passes. Put this into perspective, I'm now 66 years old, and this is my last day in the building, and I'm here in City Council chambers once again. How much time has passed and the world has changed. On that day, the Pirates were king of the city, not the Steelers. They had a great superstar still alive and playing named Roberto Clemente. The Steeler dynasty was in its infancy. The Penguins were sparsely attended, and the only soccer player anyone in America knew was some guy from Brazil named Pele. And now we're in this chamber, and it's so surreal. And this chamber itself hasn't aged. It seems timeless. And I'm so overwhelmed that this esteemed council is honoring my life's work.
You talking about us?
Yes. And I say thank you so much for recognizing my accomplishments as a project manager and dedication and commitment to the public service to the community of the city of Pittsburgh through my work as a project in the Parks Department and Public Works. I've been blessed to have this opportunity. Thank you, Council President Lavelle. Thank you, honorable council members Charland, Coghill, Gross, Mosley, Strausberger, Warwick, and Wilson. A very, very heartfelt special thank you to my dear friend and former colleague on both the Municipal Pension Board and the Investment Comprehensive Board for the City of Pittsburgh, and the former council president, my dear friend, Teresa Kell-Smith. Thank you so much. And her staff, and most notably Lori Marabello, who wrote this beautiful proclamation. To all of you, I will be forever grateful. I also just want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Mayor William Peduto and his administration, especially Kevin Ackland, his chief of staff, and chief of operations, Guy Costa, who believed in me and had the faith in me and my experience, ability, talent, and drive to place me in this impactful position that I can make an impact on the city that I love. They're not here, but thank you. Hopefully they will see this. Before closing, I want to recognize my friends and my family and colleagues that are here for me and to honor this day. My brother Jim, who I love dearly. My brother Jim is a very renowned attorney in this city. He's made me proud so much to be his little brother. Thank you, Council, for giving me the opportunity to make him proud. His son Tommy, my nephew, who I love so much. I know he's back there. My adopted brother and my dear friend and a great community leader from the North Side and prominent business owner from the Hill District, Jerry Hughes. Jerry used to be the owner of the Crawford Grill, the famed and renowned Crawford Grill. I want to honor my colleagues that are present. Assistant Director of the Department of Public Works, who heads up facilities and architecture, who has given us so much support over the last couple years, especially. Chip Gall. Chip, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for what your leadership has meant to me in your role. My team member, Matt Butter, and our team leader, and I can tell you I probably wouldn't have been with the city more than 2 years if I hadn't worked with this guy. He's my mentor, my confidant, one of my dearest friends, and will be throughout my life, the senior architect for the city of Pittsburgh, Casimir Pellegrini, and his wife Beth are here. Also, I'd like to recognize Richard Carrington and Mickey Underwood. Their work in the community, especially with the underserved youth of this city, is what inspired me to go out and find resources and ask for these facilities to be renovated. I always said, Richard has a summer camp. He has a summer camp. He is the president of Voices Against Violence. He saves children's lives every day. He goes out and saves. He's a honorable discharged wounded veteran of the Iraq War. He goes out every day and saves homeless veterans from the streets. But more importantly, he has a summer camp of 300 children. He feeds them lunch and breakfast. He nurtures them. He mentors them. He teaches them. He changes the trajectory of their lives, which changes the trajectory of our great city.
We'll give him a proclamation.
Richard, thank you. Mickey Underwood, former manager of Parks, who's a dear friend and a community leader in Brookline, thank you. And in closing, I'd just like to quote a famous literary character, Tiny Tim. God bless us, everyone. Thank you, Chris.
I thought you were going to say tiptoe through the tulips. But anyway, yeah.
And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention my dear partner, love of my life.
I thought you did. I apologize. That was me. Do you want to say a few words, Kaz?
Sure.
And the rest of you come up here for the photo.
Yeah, please come up for the photo.
I'm gonna sit down.
Jerry.
Thank you, Council President and Council members, for acknowledging and honoring Mark's hard work with the City of Pittsburgh. But I want to say a few words about Mark. We worked very closely for about 10 years. We accomplished a lot together, but I just want to tell you, you might not know this, but Mark's a people person. Can I get an amen on that?
Amen.
Okay, he is. He's a great guy, and I met him about 10 years ago at the Bloomfield Rec Center when we were doing a deck hockey project together. And after a little bit of talking, he told me I'd be working with him. I said, "Oh, that's awesome." I remembered him from Allie's Bar back in college years ago. I didn't know him, but I recognized him. But it was really cool to get to know him on a much deeper level. But after my talking with him, I realized he's a people person. And I said to myself, I got to harness that for the Department of Public Works and put this to good use, because he is gifted in this area. And so I did harness this gift in the design and construction process with city personnel, architects, contractors, and vendors. That was about 10 years ago, as I said. He learned to know each party well and acted like a bloodhound in getting his I's dotted and his T's crossed and ensuring deadlines were met. All in a firm yet thoughtful and kind manner based on enduring relationships with those he encountered. I was amazed at how much he picked up and applied to projects like the Moore Pool renovation, the Westinghouse Memorial Pond restoration, Mellon Tennis Dome, Shenley Park Ice Rink, Paulson Rec Center, Phillips Rec Center, McKinley Rec Center, Sheridan Senior Center, Highland Park Pedestrian Tunnel, and the South Side Market House. And that's just to name a few. We did many more. But thank you, Mark, for your dedication and passion for the job over the 10 or so years we worked together. You've come a long way in learning and understanding the design and construction process. Know that you had a tremendous impact on the citizens of the city of Pittsburgh. Many of our projects, and I mean this, never would have come to be without your tenacity and persistence. Your care and dedication made a remarkable difference. You will be difficult to replace. So I wish you peace and happiness in your retirement. Mostly, though, I want to say I enjoyed your friendship over the years and look forward to seeing you in the upcoming years. So thank you. I wish you all of God's blessings as you move on into retirement. Godspeed.
Okay. Councilwoman Warwick, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so first of all, Mark, I know that you're in Councilwoman Smith's district, but you are a legend in Greenfield, your name. So yeah, congratulations on your retirement. And I'm not sure if you remember, but we've crossed paths a number of times over the past couple of years. But I'm not sure, you probably don't remember this, but I would say probably going on 10 years ago, my mother-in-law had dementia or Alzheimer's, and she was having there were just some issues at one of the senior centers, right? And I was sort of kind of wrangling with the staff and whatnot. And I don't remember if it was on Thanksgiving or if it was like Thanksgiving weekend, but it was definitely like a holiday weekend, like a time where people are generally not working. And, my phone rang and it was you, and you were calling to just talk through the issues that my mother-in-law was having with me and whatnot, and with my husband. Yeah. And, anyway, I remember at the time, this is long before I knew anything about the city or whatever, but I do remember at the time thinking, wow, that is, this person just called and is, taking time on a holiday weekend to sort of address this and help our family kind of figure out, what the next steps might be in terms of that situation. So thank you for that and congratulations. Yep.
Thank you. And Councilman Coghill.
Yep. Thank you. Mark, we've been friends for a long time, and, it's really been a pleasure to get to know you throughout the years. And I don't know if you know this, I used to run around with your brother Allie 30-some odd years ago, so very familiar with your family. I didn't have the privilege of knowing your father, but he's legendary, of course, in this town, and you are as well. So, getting to work with you personally since I've joined council, whether it was the Moore Park pool that Kaz pointed out, or PHDC, getting that situation up and running, and now it's a beautiful space that you've helped create there, and all the projects. So just wanted to thank you for your years of service. You're a class act and a good friend, so appreciate you.
Thank you. Councilman Mosley.
Congratulations, Mark. Good to see you again. As you were speaking, I was reflecting on relationship and was really struck by the fact we've known each other for about a quarter century now. When we met, both of our hair was black, but somehow your hair is still black and mine is. Yeah, absolutely. We've been in the trenches together. I think, back in like 2004, if there was two people outside of Hastings Street that had more belief in Bill Peduto, I don't know who that was, but it was me and you, in the trenches in that 2005 campaign, when former Mayor Peduto was the long shot, and I remember those meetings we used to have, and somehow, some way, we usually would end up on the same side of an argument in the campaign staff meetings and things like that. And obviously, Councilwoman Gross was a part of that team as well. And I've probably been a part of about, 60 or 70 campaigns around the country. But my favorite campaign was that 2005 campaign that we were a part of. And I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Mayor Peduto's 2005 unsuccessful campaign. But I still think that was the best campaign I was a part of. And you were a big part of that. And I look forward to sitting down with you and having an adult beverage and reminiscing, on the days together, in the trenches, and those conversations about Pittsburgh political history. As you know, I'm a student of political history, but in many ways you're an encyclopedia because you have so much firsthand knowledge of history, being with your father, the stories about riding in the cars and when council members used to have drivers, imagine that, and I still remember a lot of those stories that you told. I just want to, you just honor, your service to the city and your friendship. And I look forward to spending some time with you in the near future. Congratulations, Mark.
If I could just follow up our friendship and Deb Gross as well.
What she wants to say.
Campaign
Wait,
came out of
here.
our love for the city of Pittsburgh and our passion to make it a better place. And I'm so happy for the city that both of you have made it to council so that you can make a difference on your own.
Thank you, Mark.
Councilwoman Gross. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President, and congratulations, Mark, and to your family. I'm so glad that you're going to have some time for yourselves, right? And we all know how taxing this work can be, and hearing stories like Councilwoman Warwick just shared. I really want to thank you and everyone for the huge investments that I think has just touched on, especially with our Parks and Recs buildings and those facilities. It was long overdue, and we're all really grateful. I'll give a special shout out for that pedestrian bridge, which was, I know, a long saga for the neighborhood, but also for DPW. If anyone doesn't know it, it's actually a historic, beautiful bridge, and DPW deconstructed it with all of its original granite stone and then reconstructed it beautifully to stabilize the road above it. It was a multi-year project, so thank you for getting that completed. It was a massive undertaking. It's beautiful in the result. Thank you. Oldest stone ever passed in Allegheny County. Did not know that. Thank you. I know, and I should have, because Kaz showed me all of the history of it on when we started the project. So I appreciate everybody getting that done, and it's been many years of dedication to the city. So we thank you. Appreciate it.
I think you and I, Councilman Colker, were the only ones not with Bill Peduto back then, apparently. Councilman Wilson.
Mark, thanks for your service. Appreciate all the stories my dad told me about you as you guys work closely together throughout some of the years. And looking forward to you've been getting some time to spend with your family, which is rightly deserved. And I want to thank your family for, offering you to the city of Pittsburgh. So thanks a lot. Take care.
I think after his speech, Janine said, take him back. Everyone want to come up for the photo?
The city of Reno is looking to Seattle for some help dealing with our growing homeless population.
Here, stay here, Mark.
It was a wild bunch. I know Chooksy. Yeah, Chooksy. Yeah, Chooksy. I know him well. You knew his brother too. Chucky. Yeah, right. Chucky. Yeah, they used to pick my cards. Good seeing you, Jimmy.
See, I know. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's great. He's great. I'm trying to help him get settled in a different. So before I leave, he has something. Don't get me in there. Okay, can we have the folks from Eden's Farm come forward?
Right. Thank God. For me.
What's going to be?
No, I don't mean to subordinate my info.
Thank you so much for waiting and for your patience. Come over here a little bit. Right there. Thank you. And I just want to say, if you're not familiar with Eden's Farm, I hope that you become familiar with it. They do amazing work in terms of human trafficking in the Pittsburgh region. And they've opened their first home, and I'm so happy that they've opened it in my district on South Main Street in the West End. But the work they do is incredible. And they just have they deserve and need all the support they can get. And when you hear the proclamation, I hope you understand a little bit of what they do. Whereas January has been recognized as National Human Trafficking Prevention Month since 2010, raising awareness of the devastating impact of human trafficking and the urgent need to combat this crime in communities across the nation. That means in our neighborhoods. And whereas in 2025, the 2025 theme, Connecting the Dots, Strengthening Communities, Preventing Trafficking, emphasizes the connections between human trafficking and other critical issues such as online abuse, labor exploitation, and interpersonal violence, while emphasizing the power of strong communities in preventing these crimes. And whereas human trafficking remains a global crisis affecting millions of individuals through forced labor, commercial sexual exploitation, and other forms of coercion, leaving long-lasting harm on communities and on people. And whereas Eden's Farm is a vital Pittsburgh-based organization dedicated to providing safe, trauma-informed care to survivors of human trafficking and commercial exploitation. They offer supportive care, transitional housing, and aftercare services, empowering individuals to rebuild their lives with dignity and self-sufficiency. And whereas through education, outreach, and collaboration with other local organizations, Eden's Farm fosters awareness and community partnerships to prevent trafficking and ensure survivors receive the resources and care they need to thrive. And now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby recognize and commend Eden's Farm for their dedicated work in supporting survivors of human trafficking. Their efforts bring hope and healing to those affected and help build stronger, safer communities in Pittsburgh and beyond. And be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Tuesday, January 28, 2025 to be Eden's Farm Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You want to say a few words? Introduce yourself to the public. Sit down here.
My name is Annalisa Gibbs, and I'm the founder and executive director of Eden's Farm. City Council and Councilwoman Smith, on behalf of Eden's Farm, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for the incredible honor of being recognized with proclamation as Eden's Farm Day. This recognition is more than just a moment of acknowledgement. It is a celebration of the resilience and courage of the survivors that we serve, the dedication of our incredible staff, and the power of community in creating meaningful change. We are deeply thankful for your unwavering support and leadership in bringing awareness to the critical issue of human trafficking and for amplifying the work we do to empower survivors. Your commitment inspires us to continue to building pathways of healing and hope for those who need it most. People often ask me, what can we do to help? And my answer is simple: be in community and be in each other's lives. There are many ways to make a difference. I would say volunteer your time, get involved with organizations like ours or other local organizations. Attend trainings to equip yourself to be an advocate. This proclamation is a powerful example of how we can come together to create a safer, more supportive world for survivors and a community where everyone can thrive. We would also like to take this opportunity to honor the survivors that we serve, who remind us every day of the strength that it takes to overcome adversity. Additionally, we extend the gratitude to our staff once more, whose tireless efforts and compassion are the heartbeat of Eden's Farm. Thank you for standing with us and for championing this cause. Together, we're fostering a community where every survivor can reclaim their lives. Thank you so much.
And I'm just going to say, just real briefly, just if you see something in your neighborhood that doesn't seem right, it might not be right. And so make sure that you're calling and reporting and doing the things that you need to do, because there are children, there are victims, depending on us to do what's right and what needs to be done. So, I mean, it's an easy thing to do, just to pick up the phone and make phone calls. Here's your proclamation. Do all members of council want to come forward? Can you give the website or the number or something? Yeah. I'm sorry.
So our website is www.edensfarm.org, or you could call us 412-903-7177. On our website, there's applications for people who are seeking housing. We provide 2 years free of charge to survivors. We have job training and a pathway to economic freedom. And sustainable freedom for survivors that we serve. So, please invest your time because that's really what we can do right now. So thank you.
And you also have a full-time job as a nurse and a mother, right?
Yes.
I just want to say, so this is important for people to give up their time.
Yes, I'm a nurse at McGee. I am a mother to 5 sons. My
Amazing
husband is an entrepreneur, meter feeder. And what else? And I am back in school at Carlo, and I've started my didactical portion of becoming a sexual assault nurse examiner. So.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. That exhausts all proclamations. So our next order of business will be public comment. I would like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which may be before city council, and profanity will not be permitted. Once you are called, please restate your name, provide your neighborhood for the record. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller.
Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller, Squirrel Hill, Tokyo, Nihon. I became a member of the Linguistic Society of America, the American Mathematical Society, and the American Physical Society in the early 2000s. I'm a Global Intelligence Society candidate for President 2028. I am the creator of Global Information Intelligence Network.net. I'm interested in globe-wide Amae and Ia, and I think that's what Eden's Farm represents. A council concern and mine is intra-city, intranational, racial and ethnic diversity in this, what we call international city. This is consistent with the sister city Saitama, Japan, and my founding of the Asian Intelligence Month, January 2010 to 2025, and it's consistent with my President Initiative 6 for 2028 from now, country, alliance, and city ally. I think we need a complex vector, the Nichi-Bei Dome, a Japan-USA alliance, and a Tokyo-Ichi, Pittsburgh City Mikata ally Goi agreement. References the University of Pittsburgh, Japan, and the USA lecturer, and the University of Oxford Institute of Japanese Studies. Consider the following. In Pittsburgh, U.S. American English, President R. Daniel Lavelle leads the council. In Tokyo, Nihongo, Sosai Lavelle R. Daniel-san, Shingeki Kai Wo, that's council, Shusai Suru, that's leads. U.S. American English is SVO, subject, verb, object. Nihongo is subject, object, verb, but it is also not that. Nihonjin, Japanese individuals using Nihongo, very often, the Japanese language, they very often just move things around in sentences. Nihongo has no articles, but English, American English does. The, a. Nihongo users rely on many postposition particles, wo, wa, to, ni, to determine what is going on inside of a sentence. American English does not. Now, I ask this question of you all and of the clerk's office. Is anyone among you, can you communicate in Nihongo? If you do not, you really need to be able to do that. This will be continued.
Thank you. Our last registered speaker is Ayas Azuni.
Hello, Council. My name is Ayas Azuni, and I live in Brookline. I love Pittsburgh, and I love living here. I love the people, I love the culture, and the community. A lot of things have changed over the years, and little by little, my quality of life is declining. Small things, like the merry-go-round in Moore Park going bad, which I contacted Councilman Coghill about last year, but it is still not fixed. Bigger things, like the homeless encampment on the North Shore side and South side trails. I used to love going for a stroll with my wife and toddlers there, but I have safety concerns now. So I was happy to learn that the City Council is working on introducing 2 referendums in May to solve all our issues. The first referendum is intended to prohibit the discrimination on the basis of race, religion, national origin, or association or affiliation with any nation or foreign state in conducting business of the city. Apparently, the reason for this is it would hamstring the city so much that we wouldn't be able to accomplish much at all. I like the spirit of having Pittsburgh be open to business, but I think there is something missing. I think we should add to the language the following. The prohibition on boycotting the nation or foreign state is held even if these entities are involved in human rights violations, ethnic cleansing, or apartheid, or genocide. I think this way the referendum is clearer. God forbid if Nazi Germany or apartheid South Africa thought Pittsburgh won't do business with them based on some moral issue. After all, doing the moral and ethical thing is hard and should not prevent the city from conducting business with violators of human rights. Heck, you know what? I heard North Korea has slave labor that the city can buy and make maintenance a whole lot cheaper. I say we start a line of communication with them to see if that would make our budget easier to balance. I want to thank you all on working hard on suppressing people who disagree with us. I am a little worried that voters will just vote for all their referendums without reading what they're about. I wish there was a way to put on the ballot that the City Council endorses the referendums that are trying to suppress the referendum coming from grassroots activists. Also, a shout out to the City Controller, Rachel Heisler, who is working hard to protect Israel and suppress democratic processes in Pittsburgh so that she could get AIPAC's support for running against Summer Lee next year. Thank you all.
Thank you. That exhausts our list of registered speakers. If there's anyone in chambers wishing to speak, please come forward at this time. Provide your name and neighborhood for the record.
Good morning. My name is Yvonne F. Brown. At my house, I have in my bedroom, I have a radio station that's WESA on. And in the kitchen, I have another station. But the radio was acting up, so I turned it. And as I turned it, I came to Marty Griffin. Marty Griffin on KDKA, and he was talking about he was saying something, but I heard a man coughing. And what it was a policeman that had ran on the bus. The bus was on fire. He had run on the bus and got all the people off. And Marty was praising him and was saying, and he was coughing. I mean, and they said he's in a hospital afterwards. And I remember listening to Marty bragging on this policeman, and I felt good too. And I said in my heart, I wish that cop had been when my son was on the floor begging for his life, saying if he could only breathe with blood coming out of his head. I wish that cop would have been with my son, because I know he would have done something. I didn't get his name, but one of you should, and he should get a proclamation for running on the bus on fire to save people. Now, another thing I would like to let you know. I came down, I'm telling you, we're up in Kaylee, wherever, and we're being harassed. We had a mother and daughter beat with a hammer. We just had the same woman that you saw chase me around, just beat a man all in his head. And this man has cancer. She's not supposed to be on the property, but she's coming. She said as long as her mother lives there, she will come. Now, Wednesday, they had a meeting. My daughter spoke up. When Arbor management came, she said before the meeting started, I want to tell you that we have Rashida McKinley that is coming in here beating up the old people, beating them, and she's threatening my mother. Now, when she threatens me, I cry. I don't even want to tell my daughter. My daughter wants to mess her up, and I don't want that. You, councilman, and the mayor, you should be shamed, because the mayor came up and gave Saludine's brother a proclamation and a plaque. He spent money on this man. He hasn't even been in the city a year. And in the building where I live, where I be cleaning, he's been cleaning up in front of August Wilson. So he has a plaque. And when I said something to the mayor, I said, Mayor, I want to talk to you. So, oh, you got a problem with it? I said, August Wilson would have had a problem with it too. August Wilson told me to keep coming down and telling my story. Because if I don't, it's history, your story, you understand? I want you to understand that we up there in the building, them old people are afraid. They're afraid of her. Now, I'm in my house on Wednesday. Someone knocks on the door. She's in the building. They're afraid for me, but you're not. Even the mayor let that woman. He knew. He's downstairs giving out a proclamation, spending money on Solomon.
Thank you, thank you, Miss. Thank you, Miss Brown.
I'm tired of it.
Thank you, Miss Brown.
People are afraid of her. They're afraid of her. We can't get no help from
Miss
you.
Brown. Next speaker, please.
Special Agent Sunshine, good morning. I return to sender every voodoo death ritual sent towards me 100 daily, sent towards me daily. 100 million billion trillion gigaplex. And Lord, whoever is sending it, throw them into a lake of fire. For those who don't believe God hears my prayer, look at California. It's on fire. Lord, thank you for leading me and guiding me here. I'm so grateful for where I am right now. In spite of the hate and the contempt from my own family, I still find hope and joy and trust in you. In Jesus' name, amen. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. No matter the darkness all around me, God still renamed me Sunshine, then promoted me to Special Agent Sunshine. I became special when I was chosen to change this world by shining a light on injustice, especially in our own government. That's you guys. Congratulations, Donald Trump, for your second term as president. I'd like to have an in-person, one-on-one discussion with you regarding this issue as soon as possible. Samuel Gray Collier, my baby's father. Your back pay child support for Cherie Taylor as of 3/15/2000 is $44.66. She's now 34 years old. Apparently working has not been what you've been doing for the last 25 years. Yet you tried to use her as a scapegoat to sue me for neglect, for money? How is that working out for you? To my real mother, TikTok. My favorite scripture in the Bible comes from Proverbs 3:5-7. It says, trust in the Lord with all of thine heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all of your ways, and he will direct your path. He guided me and directed me right here to this chamber. I didn't know anything about you guys, but y'all know my whole story. You know my real name. You were part of changing my identity for my real mother and father to steal everything that has my name on it. But in Jesus' name, everything that has my name on it will be returned to me 1 billion-fold. Now, if you don't believe it, again, look at California. Look at it. Because he's not playing. Everybody's fire and destruction will not be the same. Get ready for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please. Seeing no further speakers, we'll turn to the presentation of papers, beginning with Councilman Sharlin, Chair of Human Resources. Councilman Sharlin does not have any new papers. That'll take us to Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Safety and Wellness.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Anthony Coghill presents Bill 1433, Resolution amending Resolution 134 of 2024, which authorized the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Safety to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership to provide an ambassador program to assist police with non-criminal matters in the Central Business District by increasing the approved amount by $1,200,000 for an amended total cost not to exceed $2,400,000 over 4 years.
And Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology.
Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Deborah L. Gross presents Bill 1434, Resolution amending Resolution 649 of 2022, authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with Foster & Foster Consulting Actuaries, Inc. for a municipal pension contribution data system by increasing the approved amount by $375,000 for an amended total cost not to exceed $625,000 over 5 years. And Bill 1452, an ordinance entitled Directing the Allegheny County Board of Elections to place before the qualified voters of the City of Pittsburgh at the 2025 May primary election a referendum question. Shall the Pittsburgh Home Rule Charter, Article 1, Home Rule Powers Definitions, be amended and supplemented by adding new Section 104G5 to restrict the lease and/or sale of the city's water and sewer system to private entities?
Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to motion to waive Rule 8 so that Bill 1452 can appear on tomorrow's Standing Committee agenda.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill 1452 will be on tomorrow's Standing Committee agenda. Councilwoman Gross.
Mr. President, I'd also like to motion for a public hearing on this Bill 1452, a cablecast public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll work with the clerk to get that public hearing scheduled.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Here's how to get your gas, electric, and water bills paid.
Thank you. That takes us to Councilman Mosley, Chair of Intergovernmental Educational Affairs.
You know I'm challenged.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I was trying to send you something, actually. So it's your fault.
Councilman Kahari Mosley presents Bill 1435, Resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewage facilities plan for 938 and 940 Penn Avenue, Pittsburgh 15222, at no cost to the city.
And Councilwoman Kell Smith, Chair of Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Teresa Kell Smith presents Bill 1436, Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Parks and Recreation to enter into an agreement or agreements with America 250 PA for the purpose of receiving grant funds from the semi-quintennial grant in the amount not to exceed $20,000 for city's Independence Day celebration.
And Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Finance and Law.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilperson Erica Strasburger presents Bill 1437, Resolution amending Resolution 316 of 2022, which provided for an agreement or agreements with Center for Hearing and Deaf Services, Inc. and Global Wordsmiths by increasing the authorized spend for Global Wordsmiths by $38,000 for services in 2025 for a new total cost not to exceed $98,000 over 4 years. Bill 1438, Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of James Sheehan, Lorene O'Neill Sheehan, and their attorneys, Goodrich and Geist, P.C., for a single payment in 2025 in an amount not to exceed $150,000 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. Bill 1439, Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Shavonte Glover and her attorneys, Allegheny Law Group, LLC, for a single payment in 2025 in an amount not to exceed $8,500 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Common Pleas Court of Allegheny County. Bill 1440, resolution further amending resolution number 723 of 2022, effective December 27th, 2022, as amended, entitled, Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2023 Capital Budget, the 2023 Community Development Program, and the 2023 through 2028 Capital Improvement Program by increasing complete streets by $221,600 to account for additional Federal Highway Administration funding being received by the City of Pittsburgh. And Bill 1441, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of finance to enter into an agreement or agreements with Morante Contracting Incorporated to provide access to City of Pittsburgh-owned parcels 26E301, 26E302, 26E303, 26E304, and 26E305 to support the replacement and rehabilitation of portions of the existing retaining walls supporting Ruthven Street above the Pittsburgh Regional Transit Martin Luther King Busway, and to replace various sewer infrastructure in the vicinity at no cost to the city.
And Councilwoman Warwick, Chair of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Barbara Warwick presents Bill 1442, resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the construction phase of the Sylvan Avenue Multimodal Path Project and providing for the payment of costs thereof not to exceed $1,809,585, an increase of $277,000 from the previously executed agreement. And Bill 1443, resolution agreement amending resolution number 172 of 2020, allowing for compensation paid to PennDOT of the local costs associated with the East Carson Street Supplemental Improvement Project being undertaken by PennDOT, and further providing for payment of the costs not to exceed $942,001.11, an increase of $55,838.12 from the previously executed agreement.
And Councilman Wilson?
No new papers, Mr. President.
Thank you. And on behalf of myself, we could start with the 5 reappointments and appointments.
Councilman R. Daniel Lavelle presents Bill 1444, resolution reappointment of Adrian Walnoa as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board with a term to expire April 30th, 2028. Bill 1445, resolution appointment of Darius Wallace as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board with a term to expire April 30th, 2025. Bill 1446, resolution appointment of Terrell Thomas as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board with a term to expire April 30th, 2026. Bill 1447, resolution reappointment of Deidre Washington as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board with a term to expire April 30th, 2028. And Bill 1448, resolution appointment of Rochelle Preston as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board with a term to expire April 30th, 2027.
And we need a motion to either approve or to interview.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The appointments have been approved. And now we need one communication.
Bill 1449, communication from Jake Pollock, Director of Office of Management and Budget, submitting to City Council the attached status update from the Grants Office for the week ended January 24th, 2025.
And need a motion to read, receive, and file.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The bill has been read, received, and filed. Our next order of business is reports of committee for final action, beginning with Councilwoman Erica Strasburger, presenting the Committee of Finance and Law.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilperson Erica Strasburger presents Bill 1427, Report of the Committee on Finance and Law for January 22nd, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1388. Resolution further amending Resolution Number 886 of 2021, effective December 27, 2021, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2022 Capital Budget and the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Program by decreasing ramp and public sidewalk by $673.61 to align with the most recent American Rescue Plan Act allocation. Bill 1389, resolution further amending Resolution Number 723 of 2022, effective December 19th, 2022, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2023 Capital Budget, the 2023 Community Development Program, and the 2023 through 2028 Capital Improvement Program by reducing facility improvements, recreation, and senior centers by $425,104.38 to align with the most recent American Rescue Plan Act allocation. And Bill 1390, resolution further amending Resolution Number 857 of 2023, effective December 27th, 2023, as amended, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2024 Capital Budget, the proposed 2024 Community Development Program, and the 2024 through 2029 Capital Improvement Program by reducing facility improvements, recreation, and senior centers by $78,322.24 to align with the most recent American Rescue Plan Act allocation.
You've heard the reading and the title of the bill. Is there any discussion? If none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Ms. Gross?
Aye. And Mr. President, may I register aye votes on the remaining bills? I have a conflict. Apologize. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bill, having received a legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilwoman Barbara Ward, presenting the Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Barbara Warwick presents Bill 1428, Report of the Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure for January 22nd, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1391, resolution providing for an agreement or agreements with McCormick Taylor, Inc. for costs associated with the study phase of the Beaver Avenue traffic project and providing for the payment of costs thereof, not to exceed $208,315.56, reimbursable at 100%. Bill 1392, resolution providing for a supplemental agreement or agreements with Mackin Engineering and Consultants for costs associated with construction, inspection, and contract administration for the critical sidewalks, gaps, and Sylvan Ave projects, providing for the payment of the cost thereof, not to exceed $491,048.40, an increase of $24,532.32 from the previously executed agreement as previously authorized by Resolution 300 of 2023. Bill 1393, resolution providing for an agreement or agreements with A. Felino Construction for costs associated with the construction phase for the Safe Routes to School project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $156,156.15, reimbursable at 100%. And Bill 1394, resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Department of Finance, and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into a license agreement with the Friends of the Riverfront to define their maintenance privileges along the City of Pittsburgh's riverfront trails at no cost to the city.
You have heard the reading and entirety of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Coghill.
Aye.
Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilperson Robert Charlin, presenting the Committee of Human Resources. Councilman Coghill?
Yep, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilperson Robert Charlin presents Bill 1429, report of the Committee on Human Resources for January 22nd, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1384, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of Human Resources and Civil Service to enter into a professional services agreement and/or contract with Community College of Allegheny County for the purpose of providing customized applicant preparation training for public safety position applicants and services associated with civil service exam preparation and training, providing for the payment of the costs thereof not to exceed $40,000 over 3 years.
You have heard the reading and entirety of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Coghill.
Aye.
Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilwoman Teresa Cale Smith, presenting the Committee of Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services.
Thank you, Mr. President. God bless you. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Teresa Cale Smith presents Bill 1430, report of the Committee on Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services for January 22nd, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1387, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Parks and Recreation to enter into agreements in individual amounts of $10,000 or less with performers, instructors, artists, referees, and persons with specialized skills in connection with the department's recreational and instructional programs and special events services.
You have heard the reading and entirety of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Coghill.
Aye.
Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. And that takes us to Councilwoman Deborah Gross, presenting the Committee of Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology.
Thank you,
Councilor
Mr.
Mosley.
President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Deborah L. Gross presents Bill 1431, report of the Committee on Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology for January 22nd, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1385, resolution amending Resolution Number 724 of 2019 titled Resolution Authorizing the Mayor and the Director of the Department of Finance to enter into an agreement or agreements with CSS Inc. for the provision of a business tax and revenue management software package for a sum not to exceed $5 million over 5 years by adding an additional $3,526,659 to the agreement and extending the agreement for an additional 5 years at a new total not to exceed $8,526,659.
You have heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally, and that finally takes us to Councilman Kari Mosley, presenting the Committee of Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilman Kahari Mosley presents Bill 1432, report of the Committee on Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs for January 22nd, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1386, resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewage facilities plan for 6277 and 6279 Meadow Street, East Liberty, 15206, at no cost to the city.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, or President Lavelle?
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to motions and resolutions. Is there anything from members? If not, we do have meeting announcements. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, council will hold an executive session on bills 1438, 1439 as they relate to litigation. Also this afternoon with sessions at 2:30 and 3:15, council will hold a briefing on Pittsburgh relationship with sister city of Caramel, Israel. I hope I pronounced that appropriately. Tomorrow, Wednesday, January 29th at 10 a.m., council will hold our standing committee meeting. Speaker registration will close at 9 a.m. To register to speak at this meeting, please fill the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage or call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. And then on Wednesday afternoon, January 29th at 1:30, council will hold a cablecast post-agenda relative to NB affordable properties. And lastly, Thursday, January 30th, with sessions at 2, 2:30, and 3, council will hold a briefing on the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. With that, we need a motion to excuse the absent member, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.